welcome to Wednesday night's main event. Make sure you got your guard dogs on because we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful show today. We're going to talk about something that's plagued our community and the fishing world on Short Bites today. So I am Kelly Bullock from Bullock Experience, one of your hosts. Kevin will not be with us tonight. He is a little bit tired. He's been dealing with some issues at home, so he will not be with us tonight. He might be in chat, so we will see. We'll see if he'll jump in chat maybe. And we've got Monty right beside us.
Hey, folks, how you doing?
And then we got another guest coming up with us, another pro staffer, Mr. Brad Caudill.
How's it going?
Pretty good,
Hey,
man.
Brad.
So let's get into it. It's like why did you invent it?
Well, Kelly, I'll tell you what, this concept came to me about 12 or 13 years ago. I was fishing one day. Of course, I fish with a rod for bait fish. I fish with an ultralight for bait fish. And in Indiana, you're only allowed to have 3 rods.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was sitting on the bank as I was walking down the bank trying to find some bluegill, sunfish for bait. I got to thinking, I left my poles out of the water because I knew I couldn't get to them in time. Mm-hmm. You know, if a fish struck, I knew that basically I was just probably going to lose some bait. And I thought, no. And I thought that's sort of silly to have 3 rods and I can only fish with one at a time when I'm fishing with bait. I wish I had something, an extra pair of hands and eyes that could watch in poles. And it came to me, you know, I wanted to make something for me. It wasn't to sell for anybody else. It was something I wanted to use to automatically set a hook for me. And that's how the concept started.
So when it started out, it was just for bait fish. It wasn't for what people are using it now for everything else. So
no,
really it was just
I was bait fishing, Kelly, with another rod.
Okay.
And I was looking to put the guard dogs on the extra rods I wasn't using.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's how the original concept started. I made some prototypes out of actually basically just a coat hanger and JB weld. Mm-hmm. They worked. They were so rough. You had to bend them, you know, every which way. Anytime you had any change in current or water, you know, conditions, they didn't work. They didn't work. So I was actually in the automobile business for around 31 years. Well, I retired 2 years ago, and that gave me time to start working on developing. You know, I knew it was from God because it never would go away. Yeah. You know, the idea would never go away.
Absolutely.
Normally, I think of something and it's going in 10 minutes. You know, I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
But I had time, and I started making some prototypes out of 1/8 inch steel wire. That's where the original guard dogs came in. I'll bet, Kelly, I made 300 different prototypes before I finally found one. I'm such a perfectionist that I finally found one that I couldn't find any faults with.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's where the original guard dogs came in play. But I've got to show you something, Kelly.
Okay.
That's actually, I told you I had the original concept of making something. Mm-hmm. And I've showed this to a few other people. But this was the original concept I had. It was an archery release, okay, that was tied to the face, that the line went over, just like with the guard dogs.
Yeah.
And that was my first concept, and it worked. But the trigger system was so light, I couldn't get enough spring in there to adjust it for the water conditions.
Gotcha. So any kind of little wave or something would kick it every time.
It would set it off. You know, there was no way to adjust that to make that work. Yeah. So that's the reason I actually started going to the wire. You know, that's why I went to the wire. But
yeah. Let me jump in here and say hello to a few people we got in here. We got 9 awesome people in chat. We got Irvin, the paid tourist. What's going on, buddy? We got Uptown Chrissy Brown, my buddy over at 51 Cleveland. We've got Gene Mark Boucher in the house. We got Stephen Curley, Mr. Mississippi Life. We got Miss Becca Mud Tramp in the house. What's going on, Becca? Nice to
Hey
see you here.
guys.
There's Lance McCougai, the Hawaiian fisherman. There's
Hey,
922 Crappie Barbecue. We got Cat Claws, Journey to the Riverbanks. What's going on, Cat Claws?
What's up, Adam?
Adam.
And let's see, we got Miss Nets blog 21. She's in the house. Appreciate you, Miss Nets. We've got Johnny Small Pepper. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
And Jacob Hagan is in the house. And Jacob Kevin is doing fine. He's just tired. He's got a lot on his plate right now. I don't know if most of y'all have him on Facebook, but he did post some pictures. He did have some storms that blew part of his roof off on his house, so he's been dealing with that. Plus, his mother is back in the hospital. She's doing okay, but hopefully she won't stay in there much longer, and we'll have her back home. So he just has a lot on his plate and just got tired. There's Steve Ransom. Mr. Doc Keith Reed is in the house.
Hey guys.
And I think I have caught up with everybody. Appreciate everybody coming here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, share it out. And one of the things I want to put at the bottom here going across is what we're talking about is guarddogproducts.com. Make sure you go over there and check out guarddogproducts.com. Make sure you look at everything. It's got a lot of information on there and everything. And how many pro staffs do you have now?
Well, right now we have 9 with a few that we're actually talking with that may be possibilities.
Nice.
We have Randy Cura, of course, from Colorado. He's our team leader. We've got Brad. We got Dink, Overstink, Gene Berry, and Adam Zimmerman with Cat Claws, of course.
Yep.
Don Robinson, John Euler. Mm-hmm. We got Fresno, Brian Terwilliger, and Dominique Hollis just joined us a few weeks back. So
that's awesome.
We got a good group of boys.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to have them beside me.
And it's a good product. I've got one. I've not been able to get it out. I've tried once. The problem is that my rods are 8 foot tall, and my rod holders are 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
So to get it to work, it is so hard. It literally is to be able to reach up top an 8 foot rod, grab it, plus pull it down 3 more feet to the bottom of the. It's just I don't.
You know what? I've still not figured that out, Kelly. Myself.
I know, and it ain't your fault. It's mine because I'm using a homemade rod holder, and it's really on top of me. I mean, if I went and got some better rod holders and bought some better ones, I guaranteed it'd work. Just I'm at a budget, so I had to use what I can and made my own. Which bad thing is, my rod holders are 3 foot tall.
Yeah, I understand.
You can actually cast it out and set your rod down and detension the string. Set your guard dog on it, and then lift it up into place and set your rod holder, and then tension that. Then you can tension it in the holder.
Yeah, I need to try that and see. I'm just afraid. I'm afraid it's not going to stay on every time I push it up. I have to get it up so high above it because I got the Berkeley Big Game, so they have that butt on it so long on the bottom, anyways. So to be able to hook it and then put it down there and get that tension, I'm afraid it's going to kick every single time on me.
The hard part's just adjusting the trigger, which is the big part of it, being able to do it.
Yeah, that's what I started to say, Brad, is really, the taller rods, they will work. We've had some people that's used the taller rod, but it's really not ideal because you can't adjust that trigger. And that's the patent, guys, that fully adjustable trigger where you can set it where you want it to trip as light as you want it in any water conditions. You really got to be able to reach it. You know, you have to be able to reach it. I know Canadian fishing musician up here in Canada, he used a tall rod. He made it work, but he was on a hill sort of, and his pole was at a 45-degree angle where he could, do that.
Be able to do it. Yeah.
But honestly, like I say, the trigger's the key to the guard dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's like I said, that's the reason why I hadn't really used it. And plus I've got the boat now, so I'm trying to figure out the boat situation, how to use it in the boat. But our weather here has been so awfully hot and just muggy, and
lots of rain.
I went out in the creek and got heat stroke just being in the creek. So being in a boat with no bimini top or nothing, I wasn't going to try it yet. It's just been crazy.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss Becca says I could barely reach up to a 6.5 foot rod. All I know I like it. I like the rods being up that high because I don't have to bend down to the very bottom to reel when I do have them. So I like it having that rod holder up high to where I can just bear it. I just have to reach my arms down and I'm right there on the reel. It's not.
Kelly, how many rods are you allowed to fish with?
Unlimited.
Well, you know what? I would suggest using your tall rod holders for all the rods you want, and put one lower rod holder down with an 8-foot rod, and use it as just basically that spare rod. That's really what they're made for.
I've got a spot. I'm gonna try it where I could do channel cat fishing, and I meant to bring it with me the day I went there because I've got the little Walmart rod holders, little spiral ones, so I can use it with it. But I forgot to bring it with me. But I was thinking about setting it up because I just had to cast it out there and let it hit the bottom and then just wait for them to bite. So I was like, well, I'll use it on them, and I forgot to bring it with me that day.
Well, I'll tell you, want something, you want a solid rod holder, and I'll tell you the reason why is, of course, when that pole is bowed and it's got that reflex. Yeah. If it's not solid at the bottom, that rod will, flex at the bottom. The rod holder will. So
these are that solid metal spiral ones that you can get at Walmart that are only made for like those little smaller butt ones, the little thin ones. Because my big Berkley big games, their butts on them are so large they don't fit down in there. So
of course, lately I've been using Adams Cat Claws rod holders. They're about the most solid rod holder I found out there. Yeah. But it also has a little place for a carabiner, which makes it easy for me.
Yes. I saw that, and I saw you all using it and some others using it, and I was like, that's perfect with the guard dog. It is, because it's ideal. Perfect hookup for it.
It's ideal. But everyone has their own likes. I know Avid's using the guard dogs now, and he's got some bigger rods, but he uses a spare 8-foot rod just when he uses the dogs, so.
You can even take and cut, if you're on a budget and you own a house, I'm sure you got some PVC laying around that's 1.5 or 1.25 inches, and you can cut a 45 on them and drive them in and use a tent stake to put your tension string on, which I use Adams rod holders, but I still use the tent stake to give myself a little room off the reel so it don't tangle my level line.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Gotcha. Well, let's see who came in. We got Buck Williams came in the house. There's Mr. Buck. Pork Chop. What's going on, Pork Chop?
We're going Pork Chop.
And let's see who else we got came in. Oh, Miss Coastal Waters, the better half of Mr. Backlash Fisherman. She's calling me the Blair Witch experience, her and her husband. Because I've tried these little things at the end of my lives when I'm go fishing about pulling the camera up to all you see is this. And trust me, if you haven't seen the latest short, it's something out of a Blair Witch Project, definitely. So you definitely need to go over there and watch that last short.
Sounds like something off of Home Improvements where you see the top of the guy's head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's this last one just perfectly fits in with that scenario. I mean, it's one of those that I'll just put it this way. I uploaded it, and within an hour, already had 700 views within the first hour.
That's pretty good.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So we'll see what happens over the next day or so. See how far it jumps up there. So I think it's going to be a good one. And it ain't nothing. It's just a little short, little 15-second video that it happened out there when I was fishing after I shut the live off. So interesting. So
That's great. That's great.
So we'll get with Brad right now. Brad, I know you're one of the pro staffs, one of the first, I think, pro staffs that started, one of the few first ones. And how has it changed your way of fishing, and how's it improved?
Well, I wasn't actually the first, but
Yeah,
I mean, there's some other people that were in way before I was, but I got one and tried it out, and I'm like, man, because I took it to the hardest lake in my area to fish, which usually, if you get 30 or 40% of the bites hooked up and then on the bank, you're doing good, because they short bite like crazy, and you got to use small baits. I mean, size of a quarter, if you go up over $50, they might get it eventually, but the smaller the better in that lake. Small hook, light line.
yeah,
And I went out and I caught every fish that I had a bite on. I'm like, it's pretty good. I'm like, well, maybe it's just a coincidence. They went out again, caught every fish that bit. I'm like, I know it's not 100%, but right now it's batting pretty good.
mm-hmm.
So it took me a few weeks before I finally got a miss. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but if you hook 90% of the fish that you're catching, there ain't really much you can complain about.
Yeah.
But here in Ohio, we finally got 3 rods this year instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I put one on it. I put one on every rod I got. They'll sit there, and every so often I'll go and check bait just to check it, and then throw out again. And I've had some real good success with it. I mean, I had a post a while back where I caught so many channel cat and so many flathead, and I mean, it's just unreal that the stuff that you miss when you don't realize it when you start recording, and you'll go to turn your back to go cut bait, and I'll hear that guard dog ting, and it'll either, if I'm a rock or sand or mud, it'll thud. If it hits a rock or some loose driftwood, it'll do a little ting, and you'll hear it.
Yeah.
And you'll turn around and go down, pick it up, reel down on it, and there it is. I mean, it's unreal how well it works. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that costs a whole lot more to catch fish. I mean, you could buy Active Target and Live Scope, and you can see all the fish for days. But is it going to help you catch the fish? Well, if they're hungry, yeah, they'll bite. But I mean, when you spend $3,600 on a sonar unit that's not a guarantee to catch you more fish, it shows you where they're at.
Oh, yeah. But
the guard dog for $20 will put more fish on the bank or the boat for you. So it's not even a hard choice. I mean, in a week, we all waste more than $20 on something, whether it's junk food or tobacco products.
For our fishing. I mean, there's stuff that we bought for our fishing that we think is going to help us. I mean, how much do we spend on the bales? How much do we spend on bales all the time? And we're always losing them when we forget to take them off, and we cast them and they fling off. I mean,
well, the bells and the sirens and stuff, you do something as simple as this on the guard dog and actually hook it through for a simple light for night fishing with it. I mean, this is just a clip, some heat shrink, and a glow stick. I mean, them glow sticks cost you nothing for 100 of them.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So
now, for you, Monty, I know there's other things out there, and I wanted to bring this one up. There's rod holders out there that have that spring loaded to help you out. So what makes yours stand out more than theirs?
I'll tell you what the difference here is, Kelly, and I've used a few of those. Matter of fact, before I actually was, like I said, came up with my original concept, they've had these spring rod holders for years and years and years. But the problem is the spring rod holder I had, there was 2 real issues that I had a real problem with. One is you couldn't adjust the trigger for the water current. There's a lot of times I'll fish a river here in Indiana called White River, and the current gets pretty rough. There's other times I'll fish, maybe Lake Monroe or Kokomo Reservoir where the water's, fairly calm. It was really sort of a one type trigger on the spring release. And if you got a quick bite and the fish didn't hook up, Kelly, my fishing rod, of course, they're setting at an angle, in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
When that spring released, it would throw my fishing rod completely behind.
Yep.
So it's not even close. And besides that, of course, there's a lot of states that it's illegal to have something spring operated or mechanical to use while you're fishing. Fishing. Some states are okay, a lot aren't. Like the yo-yos, if you remember the yo-yos.
Yep.
A lot of the southern states, it's still legal, but half the states it's not nowadays.
Yeah.
But with the guard dogs, we can do it a lot more efficient. We've got the fully adjustable trigger setting that we can use in any water condition.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we can go from the bank to boat to ice.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that with those spring operated rod holders. Nope. So we've got a product, I give the Lord all the credit in the world. It's a simple product, Kelly, but it's based on physics where there is no springs, there is no mechanic, the fish trips. So we're legal in every state except for Minnesota. And Minnesota's got some really, really funky laws up there. You can only fish with one rod. You can only fish for certain fish between this time and this time. Mm-hmm. The Jolt Jacker, of course, was made for ice, and it's in a similar manner. It's legal in every state but Minnesota. It's just one of those things. But like I say, we've come a long way. But again, like I say, the original dog that you've got, Kelly, they worked fine.
Yeah,
they worked great. But they were steel, they can rust, when I was using them, I was having to take steel wool over them after they dropped in the water several times. They worked well, but this new Pro model is just a big jump up. Big jump up. This is made out of aircraft grade aluminum, that 6061 T6. So if anybody's in the manufacturing area with metals, this is just the top notch, for aluminum. Of course, they're made in the USA. I won't go outside the USA with the guard dogs. But from bank to boat to ice, man, they're working fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing is we haven't really talked about is that it's really made for the spinning reel. But it's not. But you can use it for the bait caster. Only problem is you got to turn it around backwards.
Right. But Kelly, you got to remember now, like most people know nowadays, of course, years ago, with the older wood rods and the cheaper rods back, 20 years ago, before they came out with S-Glass or composites, you had to actually have a rod that's spined, a certain way when it came in to put the eyes on it, things like that. Well, now, of course, all your modern rods are made out of S-Glass or some kind of composite material where they aren't spined anymore. It doesn't matter where the eyes go on that fishing rod. So, people say, well, yeah, my rods, my eyes are on top and it bends down. So I don't want to break my rod by bending it the opposite way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They could have placed those rods those eyes anywhere they wanted. It'll bend any direction. It's not an issue anymore. But like I say, but the bait caster, you just got to remember with the guard dogs, you just set it up in a spinning rod position. It may look funny to you, but it works identical to a spinning rod. It works great. Yeah. Brad, that's all Brad uses. That's all, most of the pro stuff. Most everybody is.
The nice thing about it is when you're using a bait caster and you do have it spun the other way, for the first couple of times of doing it, it's awkward. But when you get used to using it, you can actually reach down. I take a reach down with my left hand, spin the rod, and start reeling right down just like normal. Simple half turn of that rod, that handle's right back in your right hand and not in your left. Usually I'll tighten them up the eyes towards the water because on bait caster, that's which way they go to do the guard dog, and I'll just reel it backwards with my left hand to snug up the line. If the water moves the bait or something, I'll snug it up a little bit.
And Kelly, another question we get asked a lot. Well, these guard dogs, you ain't supposed to set a circle hook. You don't swing a circle hook. You run over when a fish starts to bow, you start cranking down, or you raise the rod, because what's happening is, of course, when a fish applies pressure with a circle, it'll slide it from its throat or its stomach. That's what they're made for, is to slide.
Yeah.
Well, there's advantages to using a guard dog with circle hooks, and I'll tell you how that is. The slight amount of pressure it takes, the fish has either the hook or the bait in its mouth when it's pulling. Like Brad said earlier, it's not 100% of the time, because sometimes they've just got a piece of the bait and you're not going to hook them, of course.
Yeah.
But the guard dog, you got to remember, the guard dog is already set up in a bent position. So when that fish starts swimming away with the hook, it's not a crazy whack, because that fish is actually applying pressure and trip. It's just like it's pulling the hook. It's already got the hook in the corner of its mouth, and it's actually doing the very same thing as you going over there and
reeling down. Yep.
To pull it in. They work fantastic. But the biggest advantage with a circle, and I know we've all been here and done that, is like you were saying before, there's times you may not be paying attention and that rod bent. And all of a sudden, by the time you've seen it, it's back up. It felt the pressure. You didn't have time to reel down. Well, that guard dog will instantly take place of that reeling down and set that hook for you. So you're gonna up your odds by all means with circle hooks using a guard dog.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I like about it, is because, like I said, starting out the show, is it's something that's plagued us for all this time, is that short bite
forever,
and especially now that we are now doing the YouTube thing. Because before we just sat out there in the bank and you're concentrating on your rods and stuff, but we still, that short bite always got you, because you had to jump up, get to it quick enough. Now it's advantage for us YouTubers now, because we're paying attention to our chat, we're talking to people, and now we don't have to be eyes on that rod 100%, because that guard dog takes that away from us. That helps us with that, is to be able to get that hook, so we can have time to get over to it, pick up the rod, and then finish reeling in once it's hooked.
Well, we all get busy.
Oh, yeah.
We all get busy. It doesn't matter if we're doing a live. Of course, there's a lot of people that's, fishing live that love it because they can interact, more with their chat. But we all, we're baiting up another line. We're putting a hook on. We're fighting another fish. We're doing, there's so many times that I've been doing something else and you just hear it. I mean, the guard dog goes off. And I would have never caught that fish. I would have never even known I had a bite. So
I don't know how many times I've answered my phone while I was out fishing by someone calling me, and then the guard dog go off, and I throw my phone in the lawn chair on speakerphone. And I'm like, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah. But it's a tool, Kelly. It's a new tool.
Absolutely.
I've bought 10,000 fishing gadgets, and I call them gadgets in my lifetime, where they look so good on the ad or they look so good on the store shelves. I took them out thinking they was going to do, a good something for me. They went in a dresser drawer and I never seen them again. I mean, that's just part of, everyone wants to try something that they think might improve their fishing. Well, this isn't a gadget. This actually is a really quality tool that will just basically be an addition to your fishing.
And it'll, like I said, it'll up your game on catching fish. And that's one thing we talk about here on the show, is tools of the trade. We always talk about tools, make sure what you bring with us. And that's how I started out the show. when I first started this back in the day when I was talking about watching your tackle. We're talking about tools in your tackle, what stuff you use to fish with. And this goes right along with that. It's just a tool. It's not just, like you said, it's not just a gadget or anything. It's a tool that betters our chances to hook fish.
And Kelly, a half an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
A half an ounce is what this weighs.
Yeah. I was going to say, they're light as can be.
3, 4, 5 in your pocket in a toolbox. You know, it's not carrying something big and bulky around. I mean,
heck, some of them spring rod holders are 15 pounds. And if you're packing a few of those, I mean, down a bank, I mean, I pack enough crap the way it is. I'd hate to even pack another, 30 pounds on a couple rod holders.
You probably seen me about a year ago on the summer. I was packing down a chair. I was packing down a backpack. I was packing down all 4 of my rods plus all 4 of those 3-foot rod holders.
Yeah.
And then having to run back up to the truck. It's almost 500, 600 yards sometimes to get the that pallet rod holder that I had one time created.
I agree.
I mean, stuff like that. I mean, you need something light. So yeah, that works perfect.
If you're carrying around a wallet or purse, chances are it's going to be heavier than the guard dogs in your pocket with a few of them. I promise you.
Absolutely.
And they don't hurt as bad when you sit on them either. I'll promise you that too. That wallet gets sore after a while when you got to sit down that lawn chair on your wallet.
Absolutely.
Them guard dogs, sometimes you don't even, I put them in my back pocket and sat down and not even realize they were there in my car on the way home. So, I mean.
We've got Maurice Kaysen in the house.
Hey, John.
What's up, Maurice?
Good to see
Maurice
you
Kaysen's
guys.
in the house. Backlash is in here. He finally jumped in.
Hey,
and there's
Backlash.
Mr. FOA himself.
Freddie, what's up, buddy?
Freddie. I know he said Monty, my man, Brad, my butt, and then he said Kelly. Yeah, I miss you too, Freddie.
Good to see you, Freddie. Hey,
too,
me
Freddie.
and Freddie talked here at the expo. I'll tell you what, it's the first time I met Freddie. Man, he's a fine man. He's a fine gentleman. I really enjoyed Freddie. Really enjoyed it.
We got to meet a lot of cool. We get to meet a lot of cool people and repeat people for me on quite a few of them. Freddie being one of them, but there's a lot of cool people at the expo. Meeting some of them and getting to interact with them. And you don't ever get enough time when you're down there with everybody, but it's still nice getting to see.
It's just like CatCon. I mean, you don't have time.
Oh yeah,
it's so busy. But
it could be a week
about beach. I have going to the beach and fishing with these. And he was talking about that and saying something. He said here, would the wave in the ocean crashing on a beach make it to where the guard dogs wouldn't work? No, because that's the good thing with it. And Monty can go on that. Is adjusts on how much it takes to trigger it. So you can adjust it from a light trigger to even a heavier trigger on it. So
yeah, guys, we've got people bank fishing or surf fishing down in the ocean. We've had sharks caught with this, of course, your redfish or stingrays or whatever else. Again, Brad and a lot of people are fishing, the Ohio, Mississippi. I mean, it'll handle the heavy currents. Matter of fact, Kelly, you could even slow troll. People down in southern Indiana, I've got some friends down in southern Indiana that are slow trolling for stripers on a boat. And man, they are tearing it up.
I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to try to show it to you anyways.
Here, I'll put you. There you
go. When I'm fishing in the river with some pretty good amount of current, this is the heavy setting. This is the light. I actually have it over here, actually on the other side on the light. And this is then usually in current will be over here. And I've never had to set it generally more than halfway, even with some pretty stupid current. So, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to fish it, on an ocean, because there's a lot of adjustment in here on this heavy setting that I've never even got to use, because
I'm going to try to show you something here, guys. If you can see that. Now, I'm on a laptop, but if you can see that guard dog set up, I want to set that on a little heavier trigger setting. And I want to show you something here. Let me go over to the little heavier. What that does, Kelly, is that just moves that little nose in that fishing rod eye
A
deeper.
little farther, yeah.
Okay. But if you notice, when I pull on this with that heavier setting, can you see that pull?
Oh yeah, I mean you're jerking it all over the place. Yep.
I mean, it takes a tug for that to happen. And I'm going to show you one more little example, one more little benefit. Of course, you can set this off with a 1/4 of an ounce. If you set it light, you can breathe on it. But I'm going to show you something else here real quick.
I wonder if you took a weight scale and hooked it to us and tell us how much ounces or pounds it takes to click that off.
1/4 ounce dropped will trip it on light setting.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it's just, I mean, you can set it so light you can breathe on it if you'd like. Now, I've lost you here. Let me see something here real quick. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to untie this or undo this. And I'm going to give you a little hint. Here we go. Kelly, I'm going to attach this really quick, attach a circle hook for you.
Okay.
Okay. If you can see that
Yep.
circle hook, guys, I'm terrible with
You're good right there. You're good.
program. But I'm going to show you what I was talking about a while ago with these being used with circle hooks, okay? Why they work so well. Of course, you know, let me put this in here where I've got it. You know, a catfish, when it starts swimming, okay, I've got that circle hook inside of its mouth, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
When it starts swimming, it pulls that circle to the corner of that catfish's mouth, correct, on the inside of the mouth. Well, it's just pricked. It ain't set yet. That's why you have to reel down or raise a rod, is to set that circle hook. But the guard dog, like I said a while ago, it's not a slap. It's already got pressure. So when that rod releases, it's just pulling that hook through that action. And I hope this doesn't go all the way. I've got it doubled up, but can you see this?
Yep.
Let me see if I can.
Yep. I saw it poke through. Yep.
You know, that just pulls.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a violent jerk into it. It didn't jerk it right out of your hands.
No,
It was
it's
just a slight pull.
Since that's already bent, like I say, and that fish has got that line, when that hits, that pole won't raise this far. You know, all it's doing is setting the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So it does 85% of our people's using circles with cats. I'll tell you right up front. You know, they're very effective.
Yeah, what Monty was talking about on your trigger, and I'm going to kind of put this in view so you can see it. With this adjustable trigger on this guard dog for your sensitivity, you know, you can see highs right here. When you move that in, it's actually going to hook this guard dog. This nose is actually going to hook into your eye harder. So it's going to pull down, and when you lighten it up, it's going to work to rotate, and it's going to make it easier for this to trip when it comes out. So, and that's the nice thing about it. When you set that hard setting on there, that nose actually buries in pretty good. I mean, it takes a lot to set it off. It takes a lot of current.
Well, and Kelly, I'm going to be honest, for anybody in the audience, I'm sort of letting you deal with the audience. I can sneak by and see people once in a while, but really haven't paid much attention. But for people in the audience, 99% of the people that get a guard dog for the first time, they place the string right in the middle when they're using it. They think, well, it ain't too light, it ain't too heavy. They place it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, that's wrong. You know, that's wrong, because in normal circumstances, you want this to trip light enough that if you get, say, for example, you get a 1 pound catfish that's playing with your bait. You know, a big blue can set it off no matter where it's at. You know what I'm saying? They've got enough, they're going to trigger. But for them dinks, for them little fish, or them, you know, 5-6 pounders under, you know, you want that as light as you can set it, depending on water currents. Yeah. Because if not, it still takes, you know, a little pull, really for a medium setting.
Yeah.
So if you're using it right in the middle and you've got some smaller fish that's biting on it, it may not trip. It's not the way you want to do that. You want to set it as light as you can set it. If it trips inadvertently, all you have to do is slide that tension string over just a quarter of an inch and you're good. But set it as light as water conditions let you. Okay.
If you trip it a few times, you're getting it close to where you need it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I watch that little nose. Mm-hmm. When I'm getting close, especially on lighter water, I don't even look at the tension string when I'm adjusting for lighter water. I'm looking at that little nose in that rod tip eye. Let me grab this ugly stick. But I'm actually putting that nose and I'm watching it. I'm going to put that nose way in there until I see it almost tripping,
Yeah.
So anyone that gets a dog or has a dog, make sure that the pattern on the guard dog is that adjustable trigger setting. It's a tool, just like a rifle. When you buy a new rifle or a bow, you've got to get used to that rifle, how it shoots, how the trigger pulls. The same way with a bow, you've got to get. It's something that you can get used to in 5 minutes if you just set a rod holder in the backyard and adjust that trigger setting so you know how it's supposed to feel. It doesn't take just a few minutes, guys. It's so simple. Simple.
This year with the guard dogs, actually being able to set that trigger light, I've caught more flathead in one night than I've ever caught the whole time of fishing, just because I was picking up about every dang fish that was biting in it. I've never caught that many. If you catch 1 or 2 flathead a night, I'm usually happy with it.
Yeah.
A couple 10-pounders, a 20-pounder, a couple 5-pounders. I've even happy sometimes. But
they got that quick bite. You know what I'm saying? They got that quick bite, and as soon as that applies pressure, hey, that fish don't know what hit it.
They usually in shallow water. You hook them like that. They put up a pretty dang good fight too, especially when you reel down on them and they know they're done. And you got a fight on your hands, even with a 20-pounder.
Like with flatheads, and the difference between flatheads and blues. Blues like to run a little bit with them and stuff like that. Flatheads like to go straight back down the deep. So they're once they feel that tug, they're gone. They're going straight back down to deep as they can get. Blues, sometimes they don't even know what they got. They think they got their food and they're gone. They have no clue they're even hooked.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Pontoon Jody.
Yep. Pontoon Jody's in here. Maurice is in here. Catfish Fever. Lynn's in here.
What's going on, Lynn?
We got 18 wonderful people in here. Appreciate you all coming in here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Share it out. I've got the guarddogproducts.com running across the bottom. Go and check that website out, guys. Definitely, you wouldn't regret getting any of it. But if they had questions, where can they get a hold of you, Monty?
Well, you can get a hold of me either on Facebook. Of course, it's Monty Sheets on my Facebook. You can message me on there. You can always check out our website. It's www.guarddogproducts.com. But again, my phone, I'm always free to answer questions. And if I'm not, I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Just like with Pontoon Jody, I met her at the Expo Kelly as well as with James and good people. Most people, of course, on here probably have had contact with me somehow, some way. But if not me, Brad, John, Randy, any of the
our pro staff,
get with them. They'll help you answer any questions as well.
Absolutely. Let's speak of the expo. This is what your first expo that you've got set up at, right?
Second. This is
second.
Okay. Expo. Yeah, we actually was in Danville, Indiana in February.
Okay.
Kelly, our original dogs, most people don't realize it, but the original guard dogs was brought out last May of last year. Why shut them off in July? The original guard dogs was only sold 3 months ever. It seems like, a long, long time ago, but it was just sold 3 months. And then we started having them manufactured, of course, in Massachusetts, and all the tooling it takes special tooling to make that little nose and those top fishing grooves perfectly rounded and smooth. They call it coining. You know, it's a die that really just coins everything perfectly, because we didn't want any rod eye problems or fishing line problems or whatever else. So it took longer for the tooling than what we thought. And the new Guard Dog Pros haven't been on the market. They just came on the market the end of January of this year. So they've only been out 6 or 7 months. That's the reason we didn't have plans for many of the expos this year, is because, you know, they were so late coming out.
Yeah.
We will be going, of course, we just got back from the Smoky Mountain Expo. We will be going to CatCon and the Danville Expo again, you know, in February. Next year, I'm hoping to hit 6 to 8 expos, you know, around the country.
Nice. So how did it go? Like, walk us through the expo, what your expectations with this one was, and the outcome.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kelly. As far as the guard dogs, we did good. We did great. Out of 10 people that would see a demonstration, Brad, what would you?
Probably at least seven or eight.
I mean, it was almost we, you know, fabulous as far as on the sell side, but I was looking for, you know, I really there. I mean, I'm glad we sold. It was really the, because 99% of the country still doesn't know a guard dog exists.
Yeah.
You know, they still don't even know we've got one. All we promote in, of course, is your Facebook catfish and card groups or whatever. So I needed the exposure. But the expo really was a little disappointing to me, because you would think it would be a big show, you know, in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, with a big old convention center, and there was very little traffic. I mean, very little traffic. They only had half of the expo filled with vendors. Some of the vendors wasn't even fishing related. You know, it was, to me, it was,
I saw a few of those. I saw a few of those that wasn't there really for the fishing's aspect of it. Yeah.
Was you at the show, Kelly?
I wasn't. I was watching some of the people that had the live feeds and stuff like that from there.
It was, to be honest with you, again, like I say, I expected, you know, a lot bigger show, you know, I mean, especially in that arena, that area. But, you know, it is what it is. We picked up several new vendors. You know, we got, I'd say 90% of the people there at the expo didn't know what guard dog was. That's the reason we sold so many out of 10, is because they'd never seen one before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like Jody said, she was highly impressed with the product and how it was presented during the expo. I mean, the reason why I even reached out to you, Monty, is because of Brad and a few others, of how well it was. And I knew that was something that could help me with my situation, especially being on the bank, is that short bite. I mean, there's just no way I could get to that spot, to that rod fast enough for that short bite. So I knew, seeing it in action, I was like, yeah, that's something that could really up my game, definitely.
You know,
well, if you can set up a rod, like I say, Kelly, my advice to you is just set up a side rod.
I will.
You know, fish with your tall fishing rod holders. I know a lot of people in the boat, guys, have certain rod holders that the guard dogs just don't work real well with the rod holders, because, of course, a guard dog works great as long as it's setting up in a 45-degree angle or higher on a boat. But a lot of the rods, you know, they're sticking way over the boat. And like you said earlier, Kelly, it's hard to hook one up, you know, guard dog up and set the trigger. So again, those that's using them on the boats that I know that are really, really successful, they're putting one rod holder or two rod holders on that boat that is more in an upright position where they can reach the rod, you know. So everyone, you know, uses them a little different manner, but there are easier and harder ways, you know, when it comes to your individual setup.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All right, Adam
I
said
know
he's
one
going to get
thing.
out of here and head out.
Hey, Adam, have a good evening, brother.
Take it easy,
Appreciate
Adam.
you coming in here.
Yeah, I know one thing for me. I told myself when we started doing the YouTube and I seen a lot of the pro staff people, I'm like, man, I wouldn't want a pro staff with one group for, rods, because there's so many rods. There's a lot of competition with hooks, and anybody that stands behind their product, I'm all for promoting, Uncle Lou, Mad Cats, Freddy. I mean, they all have great products, but being pro staff with a company takes a lot of work. There's a lot to it. It takes a lot of time. I mean, unfortunately, it does. I mean, we got to do extra stuff weekly, bi-weekly to keep up on it. And I'm like, man, I don't really I want to do that. And then me and Monty started talking, and we finally came to agreement to do it. But, I'm glad to be staffed with him. And the nice thing is I can use anybody else's product and it doesn't interfere with his. So, and it's made in the USA. So that makes it a little better.
So that's definitely a plus for a lot of
us. It's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I say, we've got a great pro staff. Of course, Brad can tell you I'm not a slave driver with pros, but I'm very selective with who I bring on the team. There's a lot of pro staff or companies out there that'll add a pro staff. And I hate to say this, but they're, sort of guinea pigs are being used. They get a shirt and a hat, get the title pro staff, but all they are is a walking billboard that those, they don't get much.
I've had a few companies reach out and they're like, oh yeah, we'd like to have you on pro staff, but to be pro staff, we need you to buy this and this and this for us to consider you as a pro staff. And I'm going, so I look at them, I was like, so to me, to be able to represent you, I have to spend a lot of money on you for you to even
How
do
do they
anything for
lose,
me.
Kelly? How do they lose anything that way?
Yeah.
Of course, our pro staff is set up completely different. Our pro staff do not pay one penny for anything that's given to them. Nothing. They pay not one penny for all the merchandise, for all the dogs they use. And then, of course, they get a promo code, commission. I want our pro staff to grow with the company. I've got a 2.5 to 3 year forecast before we really, really get to the numbers. We've been approached by Cabela's. We've been approached by Walmart. I can't supply that many guard dogs yet. I haven't got the funds to put, $250,000 out there yet. And then you got to wait 90 days for them to pay you, So I've got a 2.5 year forecast, but the pro staff that we bring in, the reason I, look for so much quality and I'll tell you, there's two things that I require from pro staff, and Brad can tell you, Kelly, this is how simple it is for our organization. Of course, if someone's interested, I want to see a video. I want to check out their YouTube and their social media. If you're representing Guard Dog, you're representing, me. The company.
Because your name's behind the product.
I don't want vulgar videos out there. I don't want, all that negative. It's a family organization. We want a quality, team. But I require Guard Dog. I tell them two things. First of all, complete honesty with anybody that asks you a question, whether you don't think it'll work or you do, you tell them truthfully, because I don't want no surprises for these people trying to be sold a guard dog. We don't have to sell guard dogs. They sell themselves, when the people see them use them. So I demand honesty for a customer by all of our pro staff. And I tell them, if you've got any lives or videos that you can use a guard dog, there's some situations where you can't even set up a rod holder. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Just put one pole out there with a guard dog, fish like you normally do with everything else, put one rod out there so you can help get my product spread. Yeah. So honesty and one rod set up when you can. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. So I want them to grow. I want them to grow as we grow with us.
I've took a paddle bit and a drill out just to take and put a rod holder on rock with some driftwood and and rock it down just to use them.
I've seen that. But honestly, like I say, we've, our team, I'm proud of each and every one of them. I'll tell you what, like I say, they represent us well. They do a great job. I've lost some pro staff that, it wasn't ill feelings. It wasn't personal. It's just, when you got a business, you've just got to do what's best, you feel like, for the company. And again, no hard feelings towards any. I wish them all the best. It just, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Dominic's in the house. Rustic's
Hey,
in the house.
Dom. Hey, Dom.
What's up, buddy?
He says, Kelly, I gave it a lot of thought before I agreed to be part of the Guard Dog Pro Staff family. Monty is the real deal, so I'm proud to be part of the Guard Dog family.
Thanks, Dom.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. We're proud to have you.
Yeah.
We're proud to have you. Brian Terwilliger, of course, I see Brian in chat. Brian, good to see you, brother. We've got some top-notch people, but again, it's like any other company. Freddie could tell you, a lot of the other companies could tell you, you get approached for Guard Dog Pro Staff. I'll bet I get, usually a dozen a month from people saying, how do I become this? Again, you just got to be really, really cautious nowadays because, your name's
a lot of people are reaching out for free handouts. That's a lot of things.
Absolutely.
They want that free handout, but they don't want to turn around and show it off. They just want that free stuff.
You got to be able to work. You got to, if a company can take and meet you halfway, and you can give them what they need, and they can give you what you need, and you can work as a team together and split it 50%.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense not to do it.
Brad, with me, with your sinkers and stuff, I've praised you from day one with yours. They've been best.
And I have a ton of people want to staff with me, and I don't have any staff. I try to keep my prices down so they're more affordable for everybody. It's not really fair to give one person a ton of free stuff and have to charge the customers for what I'm getting rid of. And that's why I don't do it. I'd rather try to get everybody the best prices I can. And that's just how I'm going to do it. And until I find a better way to do it.
A lot of stuff that people have sent me. I think you've sent me stuff. Uncle Lou sent me stuff. Double hook angling. Mr. Dave Lemons sent me stuff. But if I'm out using it, I will tell you exactly what I'm using, where I got it from. And I'll say, well, here's where you can go and pick that stuff up. Like I was using yesterday in my live stream, I was using Double Hooks Angling's lures, that hand-tied lures. He caught me a nice hand-sized bluegill with one of them. One of the best. Those hand-tied jigs are the best. They really are. They're top-notch.
We all try to help people where we can.
That's the key to being a good pro staff, is believing. You'd buy it anyway. You'd use it anyway.
Oh yeah,
that's the key. That's the
key. He sent me a bunch of them, and I'm like, I'm going to use them. Because I love these things. I love hand tied jigs. I've used creature baits. They work, but my creeks, for some reason, they love these hand tied jigs. They love the colors. They love the style of them. And they'll bite every time. I went to a part of the creek I've never fished this whole entire time that I've been creek fishing, and never walked. And not even within, I think it's 45 minutes, and I've already hooked into 4 of the good fish in that part of the water. I'm going back to that spot because that was some good fishing. And I said that these hand tied jigs are coming back with me. I'll promote Dave 100% on that stuff because they do produce fish for you. They will.
That's the thing too. When you find a good product, whether you're staffed with them or not.
Oh yeah.
Even if I wasn't staffed with Guard Dog tomorrow, I'd still use them because they still catch me a ton of fish.
Well,
it doesn't make sense not to.
I always praise Uncle Lou.
Trust me, I have 4 of his rods and I use them.
Uncle
use them more than anything.
Caught me my biggest fish. It's caught my 47-pound blue cat on a planer board, Uncle Lou planer board. I'll praise his planer boards every day for what they do.
Yep,
They are top-notch product.
I actually have them sitting right back there behind me, right there.
Yep, I've got mine sitting on the boat right now.
Hey, I have I think 4 Uncle Lou rods now. I got two of the Hellcat rods. I got a Whisker Seeker, some B&M.
Oh yeah.
I just picked up this Mad Catz rod because it was a rod I didn't have, and I like to show variation when I'm out fishing. With the guard dogs to show, hey, I can go grab whatever rod you want to see work and use it.
Yeah.
I just like having that option.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm still going to fish with a couple of Uncle Lou rods and something else, but I haven't got to try the Mad Catz out, but it's just like Freddie and Uncle Lou and all them. They stand behind their rods and their products. I ain't afraid to use them. They work for a lot of people, and they'll continue working for a lot of people.
Speaking of product, I got reached out, and a lot of people may know or heard of them, Better Boats products, and they reached out and wanted to join in a partnership with me, and so I said, sure, why not? So they sent me, they gave me a list of stuff that I can look for. They say go on their website, pick out 3 items, and they will send it to me. I got 3 items in.
Did you pick a boat, a trolling motor, and a motor for the back of it?
I wish they had that. I wish they had that. So I'm going to get ready to show you because we're getting ready to the end of that magical hour. So we'll show these off real quick.
Oh, them things are nice.
Better boat ratch straps, and these are not just like your normal straps that you have on your truck.
They're the bolt down ones, aren't they?
These are some amazing straps. I love these things. They're all one setup piece. It's all contained inside that one piece right there. So you just pop it open, and let's see, what is it? Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. I got to push it all the way down. That's right. Push it all the way down, and that pulls out. So that strap stays all in there. So it's all mounted in one piece. So love that.
Yeah, they're good. They're nice.
So that's one of the items I'm going to put that on the boat and use that and replace the straps that I've got right now, because the straps I've got right now are just they're almost worthless. Trust me, they're pretty much worthless.
Hey Brad. Pontoon Jody's asking, is that the lunar rod?
The littler rod.
The Mad Catz, is that
the Luna rod from Mad Catz?
Yeah, this is the Luna rod. This is their new one. I don't know if I can put it in the frame or not.
Better Boats has a outboard motor muff. Because I needed a new one, because the one I have is actually not mine, so I needed to replace it. And the cool thing is with this one is you notice most of the motor muffs are on the side of the ear muff. That's where they connect at. This one doesn't. This one connects at the end, and it gives you a double spray, so you have water going in both sides.
Nice.
Oh.
So that's good. It also helps with winterizing and stuff like that. It's what it connects with. So, and it's heavy duty.
They say it looks pretty thick.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's perfect. It's got a nice little piece on the inside. Everything is good on it. So I love it. It's got
pretty
even
large tubes on the side of it,
like a little nozzle attachment to help out with it.
Cool.
And the last one is this one came in today, a manual bilge pump. So
that could come in handy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Because the way my boat's set up is, if it's out and I don't have the cover on and it gets rain on the inside of it, because it's a deep V hole, so, and it holds water sometimes inside where you're sitting at and stuff in the corners, so it don't drain out as quick. I'll just take that, pump the water back out, and I'm good to go.
Yeah,
that's a good safety tool to have on a boat.
Yeah, it is.
In a storage locker or under a seat, or
And that's one thing I picked that is because I needed something like that on there because I don't have nothing on there like that. There is no pump.
I've had times where I've had to use a 5-gallon bucket to get rid of water.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
And the thing is, and the good thing is those are made for all kinds. They don't have to be just be on the boat. I mean, that application is things for anything. So is the straps. I could take the straps right now and put them on my trailer for work and use them. I mean, it'll work anyway. So that's a good thing. So
yeah.
Back to that was just a little infomercial kind of deal going on there. I'll do more stuff on that on my own. But getting back to Monty and his stuff, any advice, anything you want to last say to anybody about the guard dogs? Any last words for it?
Well, I'll tell you, the only thing I could say, guys, is I think if you just tried one, if you just purchased one and set it up and took your time. Again, it doesn't take much time, but if you take out 5-10 minutes in the backyard to get used to setting them up before you go to the water, I think you're going to enjoy them. I always tell people, there's some people that purchase one. There's some say, hey, I've got 8 poles. I want 8 guard dogs. There's a difference in people. Mm-hmm. But I say if you see them used once and you actually see them work, you actually get to see them do what they're meant to do, you'll be an instant believer. You'll go back to them more. So.
When you're practicing in the yard, take your hooks off because they will get you. I promise you. I don't care how careful you are, they will get you.
Put it inside the little piece of cardboard.
Yes.
And do it that way. So that way at least your hands are saved.
I normally tie a little pool noodle to mine. So if I let go, because Kelly, I'm going to tell you something, 90% of the people that try the guard dog for the first time, we let them pull on that string, to let them see how easy it is to trip. Yeah. 90% of them, man, it flings. It shocks, it's just so quick, it shocks them.
Yeah, because they're not used to it, yeah.
Use a sock, use a pool noodle, use something soft to set them up at the house,
We almost needed one of those bank expandable barricades at the fishing expo for the flying fish event we had down there.
We did.
I don't know what you done, Brad, but Chrissy's mad at you.
What did I do to Chrissy?
I have no clue. She's I'm still mad at Brad.
Chrissy, send me a message. That way I know why you're mad. I don't like when she's mad at me.
922 saying auto plug and full throttle.
The good thing is, if you guys are buying them online, all of us pro staff have promo codes. I mean, get a hold of one of us. We'll be more than happy to share that promo code with you. We want you to save money. We want you to try it. So if you want to get one, try it out and save a little money doing it to see if you like it or see if it fits your needs. Get one, try it out. It's cheaper. So mine's Brad 5 and all the other guys have them too. So get a hold of them, ask them, try one out. I was already down there when you said that. That doesn't count.
Oh, there you go. There's Danny Stone Outdoors. Mr. Danny Stone is in the house. I've been on the fence about getting them. I'm just about in just about every live I do. There's a rod going down behind me. I know I saw that picture of your fish, your fish of the year or whatever, takedowns of the year. And he sat there and he was talking about a rod, showing off the rod, and his rod's just sitting there just doubling over.
Every time you turn around or you go to do something, what I always tell people, you're not always going to be able to give a rod 100% of your attention, but the guard dog's there to watch it 100% of the time. So it's there watching while you're not. So no matter what you're doing, whether you're...
And that's the reason why it's got a fitting name, the guard dog, is because it is on guard duty for you when you can't
The dog's on watch for you.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how many times I've said, dang, hey, I forgot my battery packs for my lights. It's getting dark. I went up to my car and grabbed a couple battery packs, and on the way back down, I heard the dog go off, and I wasn't even near it. And so, of course, you watch a fat kid try to run after a rod downhill, which gets interesting, but they get to them.
Freddie, appreciate that.
Yeah, Freddie even got him one.
Guard dogs.
I think the FOA rods and the guard dogs are going to be a good combination. I think they'll be.
I guarantee they will.
And Chrissy, he did say he will be at the CatCon, so that's going to be good. And that has a lot of traffic, so definitely
that's what I was telling Monty. I'm like the amount of traffic that's up there is it's unlike anything else. I mean, it really is.
I'll throw it out there. If you need help up there, let me know. I will be there. So I will run over there and help you out whenever you need it.
Sounds great. I'll tell you what. Yeah,
that just means give you a break, let you go walk off, get you something to drink or something, use the bathroom. I can stand in.
Well, I really figured the Smoky Mountain Expo, like I say, you would think in, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, I mean, with all the traffic and all the fishing down in Tennessee, I was a little surprised, like I say, I'm not going to cut anybody down or any expo down, but it just sort of surprised me.
I'm just wondering if it was because it was at the time of the year because it was right when school started, especially up here for us. It's a fairly
new event too. So getting people, I mean, spreading the word on a new event. Sometimes it takes quite a bit of time to get some.
Not very many people. I didn't see very much advertisement from it except for us in the community. So really didn't get that much national exposure.
I think that was actually a lot of it, Kelly. I just don't think they really took enough time to promote it. But but again, it was a great trip. Me and Brad, of course, I'd never met Brad in person. We shared a great time together. I was glad to spend the time with him, and I met a lot of wonderful people there. Like I said, I really did. I met people that I wanted to meet. Like I say, Pontoon Jody, Freddie, James, a lot of the, several people that I really wanted to shake their hands and get to know a little bit. It was nice. It was nice.
Oh yeah.
We even got to eat at a pretty cool, 70s diner, themed diner down there. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Good food too.
Oh yeah, always.
But Kelly, I want to say thank you too before the show ends. I want to say thank you for the invitation.
Oh, no problem.
I know, we've talked in the past, but I've really never had a chance to talk with you. I'm glad I have. I've learned a lot more about you as well, so I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you agreeing to the invitation definitely, because it's like I said, it's one of those products that I've always just since it came out is like that's something that could definitely upgrade my game. Plus, I mean, it's a lot of people's too. I mean, that's definitely a product that I'll definitely stand behind, and I know a lot of people will from now on.
It's just kind of like the spooks versus floats versus nothing on it all. Yeah. When you get used to setting yourself up to fish a certain way, and you have to change it, or you do change it, at first you're uncomfortable with it. And then when you realize how much better it does for you, like the floats or the spooks do by putting them into that rig. I mean, once you see how much more that it does for you, you learn to appreciate the things that work so well.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like a banjo minnow where they just sell it to make some money, and it's the most generic thing that doesn't work. I mean,
oh yeah. And I mean, I don't get me wrong. I mean, I looked into those spring-loaded ones and stuff like that. I've researched them, and it's like, oh yeah, those will be good. But then when I started seeing these, I was like, wow, why would I ever go to them? I said, this got to be the product. I mean, it's simple. It's not that hard. So
they're a lot more effective. Again, it's basically just that fully adjustable trigger setting. Really, just puts icing on the cake. Really puts icing on the cake.
Yeah. Jody's asking me, it says, Kelly, are you ending at 10? I can end any time there, Jody. But appreciate everybody coming out. 21 awesome people. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out. We've got Fish Hizzle on for next week.
Cool.
So we're going to be talking about Fish Hizzle next week. And Danny Stone, just give me heads up if you're still okay with your date. Right now, tentatively, we've got Danny Stone for the week after next. We've got Matt Jones, Mr. Catman, Cat Matt, for the week after that. And then we got a few others coming up.
You got a heck of a good lineup coming up there, Kelly.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we've got waiting on. I mean, right now we got Daryl coming on, Trophy Seekers, but right now we're checking in to make sure he's going to be able to, with him having his total knee done. So we'll got to check with him.
That sucks to hear from him too.
Yeah,
so you just get done with one and then have to go back and.
We got Dustin and them from Snagging Whiskers. Fishing with Tuck. We got Squirrel coming back on with us. He's going to be talking a lot about with us stuff that's going on with him. And we got Micah Burkhart coming in with Mr. Tennessee Record coming on. We're going to talk with him.
Yeah, he was at the Smoky Mountain Fishing Expo too.
Yeah.
That'll be great. That'll be great.
So,
hey, Brad, I want to thank you, brother, for those that don't know, originally I was scheduled to be with Dink Over Stink with Gene. And somehow he just couldn't come up on, and I gave Brad a late contact, and he offered to help out. So I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, anytime. That's what I'm here for.
All right, guys. Jody just dropped something. Hogleg's going to have an update at 10 o'clock on Kenneth. Definitely get over there with Hogleg and get that update. Let's keep Kenneth in your prayers. Bobcat is back home. So definitely he's still got a long road to recover after his triple bypass surgery.
And tonight when everybody goes to bed, just say a silent prayer for all those that are sick. I mean, there's quite a few people in the community, even some that ain't even saying it, that are
absolutely
ill or under the weather or not doing very well. So before we go to bed tonight, say a silent prayer for each and every one of them.
And they say it hits us in threes, and it has. It definitely has. Patriot James, I know he's doing okay and recovering, but definitely for him, Kevin, my co-host, he's doing better. His speech is getting better every day. I was able to have a conversation with him, and it seemed like he was doing a lot better. He's just tired. He's got him run down right now, dealing with his mom back in the hospital right now. And then also with, like I said earlier, with part of his roof on his house being blown off from that storm. So he's just having to deal with that kind of stuff. So definitely them. Yes. I know Ernie and Chrissy are always in our prayers, definitely with them and their health. Definitely a lot of them, guys. So definitely, like Brad said, it just takes a simple second just to take a prayer and pray for them, definitely, tonight before you go to bed. So,
Amen.
Pray for us all as parents too. Kids going back to school and dealing with that.
The struggle of children.
Yes. Not just normal children. I mean, children that go to middle school. We got middle schoolers now. We got high schoolers now. Yeah. Yay.
But to all you folks in chat, thanks for watching. Like I say, we appreciate, everyone tuning in. If I could ever be assistance to you, I'm just a phone call away, or just message me. Be glad to answer any questions you might have down the road. So
if anybody's close to me in Ohio or around the Indiana area, then they want to go fish and use the guard dogs or try one out, let me know. I try to get out and fish as much as I possibly can. I might be able to hook up with a couple people and take them out and try a guard dog, see what they think firsthand. I mean, I know once people start using them, they're gonna pick them up, buy them from themselves. I mean, it doesn't make sense not to when they catch fish the way they do.
Yeah, absolutely. But appreciate everybody. We'll see you on the next adventure. I know I won't be live again this week. Don't think I will. My nephew's birthday is tomorrow, so my senior now. Gosh, I can't believe he's a senior. So we get to celebrate his birthday tomorrow and this weekend. And so definitely going to be a fun week from starting tomorrow. So but we'll be back out there in the water sometime. So we'll see you on the next one, guys. Appreciate y'all, and we'll send you out with our exit, guys.
God bless, guys.
Have a good night, everybody.